We make a return to the place where it all started in the F1 23 game cycle. And now, as we're about to end off racing in the year 2023, we end off in Australia for round number 3 of the season. 29 laps, 4 DRS zones, and many things to look forward to. Cookie has taken 2 poles in a row and won 2 races in a row. And as we head to the holiday break in a little over 2 hours for these Tier 1 drivers, we find out who can make that attempt to put the fight to Cookie. We're absolutely delighted to all have you here for racing tonight. I am commentator Ryan Searles, ready to call the action alongside Owen 37 for one final time in 2023. Welcome along, Owen.
Yeah,
glad to have you here.
baby. Final race of the year. I'm not looking forward to the new year. It's terrifying. I'm going to be 21 next year, but at least I can enjoy my last F1 Grand Prix commentary of 2023.
Yeah, and then we go to 2024, and then in 2024 we'll have the F1 24 games. At one point, we'll have the, I want to say, 5th year anniversary of RPL as well, which will be nice. A lot of things with that. So, yeah, a lot of things to look forward to. One of the things we are looking forward to is to see who can close in the Drivers' Championship. Cookie is out front by a country mile. He has 51 points of the 52 available. TB is right behind, 28 points. He has to his name. Scyther's third at 19. Darius is fourth with 18 points. Red Bull lead the Constructors' title, 69 points to their name. That's nice for them. But McLaren have 37. Mercedes 36. Ferrari 32. So a nice little battle for second place, but not exactly close enough to Red Bull. So whatever happens tonight, unless TB wins, Cookie's going to come out with the championship lead. And that was the one thing, Owen, that he was talking about wanting when it came to the holiday break after round number 3. All he wanted to do is come out of that area with that championship lead, and he's done that, it looks like, for the most part. All he just needs to do is not finish terribly, and he won't be overtaken by TB.
This is true. He's going to enjoy his little Christmas break off. He'll be opening up his presents on Christmas morning, and one thing he'll be thinking about is, yes, I'm leading the RPL Championship. But it gives him a bit of a comfort knowing that, okay, this 2-week break, I don't have to, overthink anything. I can just chill out. I'm on top by what? He's on top by like 30 points. That's crazy, or something like that. So yes, he's basically at the moment got this championship wrapped around his finger, but longest ever season in RPL history. So 2 races literally means nothing. We've got 24 more to go, and those 24 races start tonight. Here we go to Australia.
Should be tons of fun. This racetrack has provided a lot of fun in the past in RPL, and now it's time to have some more of it. Let's get you your headlines and everything you need to look forward to. By the way, one more race of 2023 overall, all tiers of RPL. That's tomorrow for Formula Endurance at Zandvoort. That'll be 72 laps of the action, and the last event of the year 2023. We're gonna keep saying it throughout tonight, but it doesn't mean it's the last event of the season. We just started a brand new season, which is why we didn't have a long break, a month break, and then go into 2024 with a new season. That's why we have a 26 race calendar for season 10 F1. So some of the full-time drivers missing tonight include the following. We've got Korsman for McLaren missing, Jacob for Alpine, his teammate Bourbon, L74G missing for Mercedes, Ads is missing, Beatnik is missing. With Beatnik missing, he's the only full-time driver from the start of the season who's not made any of the races to end off the year and start off the season. Formula Cringe for AlphaTauri is missing a second straight week as well. Josh, I believe, is missing tonight. Yes, he is, because Minico is in the Ferrari. He's one of some of the drivers being promoted to top teams for tonight because of other drivers missing. One of those drivers also include Lewis Piper for Mercedes. Lewis Piper's getting his chance once again with L74G not in the order. We've got Be Good for McLaren because of the fact that Korsman's missing. He is making his first ever Tier 1 start. He's been an absolute star so far in Tier 2 and Formula Endurance. A potential new race winner in F1 once he gets everything figured out. We also have in the lineups Hunted in Alpine. Zakaria is returning for Williams. His last start comes from Qatar, when that was the same weekend he committed some very dangerous acts on Bulgogi, getting himself a rest of the season ban. Due to Formula Cringe missing, we got Welp Dang in the AlphaTauri. Shanghai is reserving for Williams. Wavy Knife is reserving for Aston Martin. A lot of reserving opportunities tonight. We've got KVS in the Haas because of the fact that Minico is going up to the Ferrari with Josh H missing. KVS made his last start in Bahrain when he made his return. I believe he's on loan, so he's having to serve a qualifying ban for it. Scyther is in McLaren. He did not race last week in Saudi Arabia. And TTM Barney reserving for Aston Martin. We saw him last week here as well. And one other thing as well is Tadpole is in the Alpine. Usual reserve here in RPL. And 2 drivers should be joining us later in the session.
TTM Barney is on the stream. Hello, Mr. Barney. First 2 cars on the circuit are Hunted and Florian. So, looking to get a lap in very quickly in this beautiful Alpine car.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a season opener this time. This is the first time, I believe, since either Season 8 or Season 7. I'd have to double check, but, you know, it's the 3rd run of the season once again. And I believe the last time it was the 3rd run of the season, it was Jacob winning it in the Ferrari. There might have been an Alpine on podium at that time. That was kind of the time when we saw Alpine get on the podium regularly with the car that they had. They had the 4th best car. Now they got the 6th best car, maybe 5th. Some tracks, and we'll have Hunted, who starts lap first for them. We'll talk about him in a moment, but and I want to kind of talk about the circuit though, because heading into the game cycle, and I believe last game as well, the one thing that was changed for this game is that there was the DRS zone that you didn't have in real life, but was in the game, into that chicane on the back straight heading into Sector 3. It was taken out in real life in 2022 when it originally was supposed to be added, and it was in the game. Then for 2023, it was in real life and was in the game both. So, I mean, the track changed in 2022 when they made those changes, and it's kind of widened everything up to where people can have some room to race and go side by side, battle a little bit easier. You can give room a little bit easier. Track limits a little bit harder to, I guess, pick up. But the thing is, it doesn't stop the drivers from pushing aggressively as well at the same time.
Yeah, you can just see the corner that Hunted has just come through there. Obviously, completely different than like the first 6, 7, 8 seasons of RPL. Yes, a lot faster. Like the corner coming up here now, obviously a lot tighter, but further braking zone. So yeah, basically. Australia went from I'd say one of my least favourite circuits to race on in RPL to one of my favourites. It's a very high-speed track now. Not a lot of slow sections. The only real slow section is the 3, 4, 5 area. And then the last 3 corners as well. Be pretty slow, but the rest of it's high-speed, high-intensity. And 17.8 for Hunted. I don't know how good that is.
We'll find out. I think we got an AlphaTauri coming across the line who will tell us on that one. I think is Florian next. We have an Alfa Romeo starting lap. That's previous champion Dainty. He is here tonight. We'll watch his lap while we talk about things. Yeah, I mean, with the track remodified the last couple of years, I'll say. I I like it a little bit better. It was never one of my favorite circuits, but I think with it being widen up, it's much more easier to go wheel to wheel with your competitors. The one thing I don't like, and a lot of the drivers will experience it tonight, is the DRS zone. I heard this talked about quite a bit. The DRS zone Dainty's about to come through. He's going to get a slipstream from Hunted here, which is very interesting indeed because they're not teammates. That got close. But the DRS zone where he opens the rear wing right here, and then he goes to another one right in here. So the way I noticed it is it's a double detection point. So if you get a DRS in the first area all the way at the beginning part of Sector 2, you get DRS all the way through this chicane as well, and heading into this corner right here, which has been reprofiled as well, a little bit widened up. And I like that corner a lot better, I must say. And these couple areas of corners as well is another one where it's widened up too, and a little more space, a little more leeway, and DRS again for him. So there's 4 DRS zones, and it's just gonna be a slipstream fest tonight. With that being said, Owen.
Yes. It's also very unfortunate for a driver if they're just like fractionally ahead of a car. They get overtaken in the first DRS zone, and then this DRS zone, the car that just overtook them starts peeling away again. It's why I never really liked double detection point DRS zones. I think they're quite stupid, really. It's like the Canada one, as we saw in Tier 2. Obviously, we didn't get to see much of it because the race was really wet. But if you overtake someone on the way down to the World Champion chicane, as Jack said, a lovely little lap time we go first. Yeah, if you overtake someone down into the final corner in Canada and then you peel away on the main straight, assume this thing might be happening here today, which I really dislike about DRS things like that, but hopefully it doesn't happen and it just makes people keep together on the DRS.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It seems like the way that Australia turned into in a way, and it's not exactly the same, but it felt like it went from, you know, the tracks like Saudi with the way the DRS is, with the mind games, and not just the mind games, but more so the amount of extra speed you just get and the momentum and everything else. Tracks like Vegas, Monza, Qatar. There's quite a few of them that are like that, and you know, with this reconfiguration of Australia, it does feel like it's kind of gone to that area with the 2 DRS zones at least. If you're not anywhere, you know, close enough for an overtake, by the time of where you see the 2 at the bottom of our screen in the map, if you're, I don't know, like 8 tenths back, and you see Lewis Piper go through the second sector now, or yeah, the second sector split now, just dip the wheel into the grass for a second. By this area right here, when DRS ends, you could be 8 tenths back right there, and because of double detection point DRS, you could be literally 2 tenths back, just about ready enough for an overtake, and you get there if there's a mistake in this sector 3 area or on the front straight DRS. I mean, the front straight DRS is probably the least powerful one right here, but it's probably the most tricky area to make a move, and Lewis Piper comes across the line 5th for Mercedes. We'll figure out where a lot of these other drivers go, but you know, I will say, compared to those tracks that I named, take Saudi for example, take Vegas, take Qatar, Monza. I feel like this is one of the more harder ones with the amount of DRS zones there are, in terms of chances to overtake at, compared to the other ones. I don't know. What do you think, Owen? Because I mean, as much as the DRS is very, very powerful, and it will be, it's still tricky to overtake here. It's widened up a little bit to where you can overtake here a little bit more, but it's not as easy as those tracks I named, I should say, with DRS super powerful.
Yeah, the DRS zones aren't really that long around here. You literally have to right up someone's like gearbox to benefit from it. So, well, pardon me. Yeah, there's not, and most of the DRS zone, like the new one we were talking about, goes into the quick chicane. There's no braking zone there. You can't even go for a dive. This corner's not really slow enough to go for a dive, so there's only 3, and then I don't know the turn name, but the reprofile 90-degree right at the end of the third gear or the fourth DRS zone. Those are really the only two real overtaking opportunities in the circuit, which is a wee bit upsetting. Because before you'd have a few slow corners, people could tend to we dive, but now basically, yeah, either you see overtakes in the straight that um the new straight, the long elongated straight after they took out the chicane, or you just see them in through slow corners. So not really a lot of room for dive bomb territories, but the corners are been widened, allowing for more wheel scrapping, which is what we like to see.
So the chiller spoke to us, I believe, at the very beginning, before the stream had even started, and he said he feels like he can put the challenge to Cookie. Well, he just invalidated in the last corner on his lap up to speed, and he invalidated this and next lap. So it's not a good start for him, but someone it looks like it's a good start for is Miniko, who is second fastest, Cookie, who is fastest on those medium tires. Very impressive right there. And Be Good, who's going to start a lap now. We'll talk about the circuit a little more on an onboard hot lap with the driver making his debut Tier 1 start. Be Good. Applies DRS here. Battery already drained or starting to drain here. Now through turn 1, 2 area, you want to be on those curbs or like your best friend throughout that area. But other areas of this racetrack, you don't want to be on those curbs. Now, a little rear lock there. A little slide, but he should be okay. And now for McLaren, their goal tonight should be to have Be Good near Scyther, because this is exactly what can put them in this fight toward Red Bull for Constructors title if they really want it or if they really see it. 27-0 at that sector split. Now just hug that yellow line. That is your best friend in this area. Define time. You can find anywhere from a couple thousands to maybe a couple hundreds if you just maximize the line. 44.6. That sector is basically a straight, and now coming through that curb, that chicane is absolutely wild. You can take it flat out and you still don't, or not flat out, sorry, balls to the walls, and you still may not crash in that area as long as you're a little bit careful though at the same time. And now these curbs, he's using a ton of them, Owen, and he still might be in the top 3 or top 5 once this lap ends.
Yes, the first sector very sloppy, but the rest of it's been pretty decent for Be Good. This should be a good enough lap to get him up there, and it is.
Wow. So those medium tires for Cookie were not exactly a push lap for him, and that's to be expected. But that shows that Miniko and Jack, they could potentially be hiding something as Be Good set a lap that was fastest of them all. How about the teammate who's going to start a lap? It is Scyther for McLaren. That Alpine Academy has been absolutely on it recently in Formula Endurance, even Formula 1 with the podium in Bahrain that they had. Formula 1 Tier 2, a win for McLaren yesterday with Tadpole. So as Be Good went fastest, the Academy team at Tadpole went 8th, Red Fire 6th for Haas. So Cam will be joining us later, and TB will be joining us for Mercedes. But in the meantime, we'll have 2 eliminated on pure pace, and right now, it might be a big race for that one. Scyther, here he comes through the sector split now. What's this going to look like? A 26.9, so a little bit better than Be Good's lap in the first sector. Scyther said he didn't really have a setup for this race at the very start. You saw a little slide there in that area earlier on, and now he's going to have the Alpine in front to give a little slipstream here in the DRS zone coming up. Now, actually, he's going to back out of that to not give some slipstream. 44.6. Scyther to the inside curb. The outside curb, a little wide. It may be invalidated, but he's backed out of that one because of that mistake he made. The past champion 2 times here in Tier 1, making a mistake that is going to be costly here because he will have to go for another one, which may lead to him either being in or out here in this session. He's one of 4 drivers not to have a lap in that are still in this session.
Very rare mistake you actually see from Scuderia. Usually when he was dominating races, you would he would just leave us, and even in the qualifying session, you would see near perfect laps from him. But maybe the pressure of not being the quickest driver anymore is getting to him, because Cookie is obviously the driver and car combination that Cookie and Red Bull have is obviously currently quicker than the Scuderia and McLaren combination.
Very true.
Scuderia is obviously probably pushing a lot more than they usually would, and that's where you see these mistakes creep out. He'd be disappointed if he doesn't beat Cookie by more than 5 tenths, I reckon, in this session. and he's already up this time from the previous
Perfect.
lap.
Perfect for him. This is what he needs. 18 thousandths. And you can see he at least has a lap time on the board, so this knocks Shanghai and Wavy into the relegation zone. So now Scyther is 49 thousandths up, so he found some time in the sector as well. This is the area he made a mistake. He was a lot more pushing on that inside curb to not go veering to the left like he did the last time. He didn't spin off, but he just lost so much time, and he went a little deep here. That's going to cost him a lot of time. But regardless, as long as he kept it in the track limits, he should be fine to... Oh, he slides! He should be fine to be safe into the next session, because you already have Florian, Dainty, Hunted, Cookie, and Minico retiring, believing they're safe with 2.5 minutes remaining. Scyther will come across the line to be 9th fastest. It's not a great lap. It was very, very scruffy, but considering what we've seen so far below him, he should be safe.
He did another mistake. 2 laps in a row he's done mistakes. And then he also had the massive rear lock as well to the second last corner. When I was reserving here last season, that was like the biggest issue I had with the circuit was the second last corner, trying to make sure you didn't lock the rears. And just stomped dead on track to let everyone through. Yeah, it was very hard to not do that. And even the mightiest 2-time champion Skusva has made the mistake. Chiller,
yeah, it's going to be very costly.
On the brim. Is he gonna his lap in and guarantee safety?
We got Wavy in front of him, who's also on a lap. The Chiller as well, you mentioned. I was riding on board Wavy through that first sector. It looked okay. Didn't look too great. But the thing with Wavy is, just announced earlier this morning, he's going to have to get used to this car now for Tier 2. He's in that bottom 2 area of the ones being eliminated on pace. And
demoted.
as he does have to get used to this car now, it's because him and Valk have made a swap in Tier 2. Valk going back to Mercedes, Wavy going to Aston Martin. This car will be much more comfortable for Wavy. He's reserved this car at the end of last season for both tiers. We'll see how he does on this lap to get through. It'll be 12th fastest. And now going to get out of the way of the Chiller, who goes fastest. Shanghai as well is starting a lap for Williams in this bottom area. At least gets a lap in. It's just a banker, though, and one he backed out of. We'll see how he goes through the first sector now. Welpdang in a Tier 1 debut start as well in this area of being eliminated. We'll see if he can get through or not. Zakaria as well is going to be on another one, surely. Barney is on an out lap, trying to get back to the finish line in time. I mean, we have 3 Mercedes Academy cars and 1 Red Bull Academy car in risk here of being eliminated.
And who are the 2 drivers yet to join? It's a TB and go through the grid. TB and Cam, yes, so the other Alfa Romeo. So a Mercedes is going to be starting on the back row of the grid, which should be interesting. See him cruise. The car has a this lap.
Yeah, a little too wide there from Shanghai. That's going to be out of this session. That's it. So now it's up to Welpdang for AlphaTauri. Is he on a lap or is he backed out of this? It looks like he's either going slow or backed out of it. I can't tell. He is definitely backed out of it. So that's the bottom 2.
They're out.
They are out.
He's a little drift.
Well, we've still got Barney who's going through, and he realized them 2 are out, so he is backed out of it. He was up on the time, so we'll see if he can get through into Q3, Barney, now with finding some time there. But your bottom ones eliminated include Welpdang and an RPL debut for AlphaTauri, and being put in the seat because Formula Cringe has missed today. And Born in Shanghai, who raced Tier 2 yesterday as a reserve for Williams as well. So a little bit of experience with this car. Not paying dividends too much, though, because that lap time got invalidated through a mistake, through track limits. He's out as well. And KVS, who is on loan to Haas, I believe, or either on loan or last-minute decision here. He is eliminated due to retiring. So, in this top 3 area, it's the first time, I believe, to start the season, that Cookie has not led a qualifying session. It's still a Red Bull, but it's the Chiller, who put it on pole in this race last season. So he's looking to go for another one. Top of Q1. It's a 17-1. The pole time last season was a 17-0. So now we may get further than that as long as we don't see any rain. We do see cloud cover. But yeah, the Chiller, Be Good, Cookie, Minico, Jack, the top 5. Some surprises in this session included Red Fire being up there, Dainty being up there. I would say Scyther being down there, but obviously the mistake happened for him. Lewis Piper down there too. But the 3 eliminated in this session include, once again, Welpdang, Born in Shanghai, and KVS.
And then, of course, the 2 PB and Cameron will be starting 19th and 20th. But now, so you get to the top 10. Wonder who's going to get knocked out here. I reckon both Aston Martins and Red Fire Tiger and Florian. No, Florian will get through. Will he? Yeah, he should. I don't know. Oh, and Zakaria. Both Aston, Zakaria,
Yeah.
Red Fire. And that's 4. And then let's just say Tadpole, mate, because Tadpole and Dainty.
Yeah, I think out of this qualifying session will definitely be Zakaria. You said both Aston Martins. I'll agree. I'll go with Red Fire as well. Yeah, I'll go with Dainty. I think just barely. So the difference compared to last season with some of these drivers that we're gonna talk about for the time being here at the very start of the session is some of these guys look very eager to get out. What I will say is last season compared to this season. Last season this was a season opener in this time for season 9 at this track. Well, it's round 3. And in the season opener last season, Jack Miles was out of qualifying. Also out of qualifying during this time, and not in Q2, was Red Fire Tiger. He's in the session as well as Jack. Also, another driver who was out was Lewis Piper. He's also in the session. So, some improvements from these drivers compared to last season. We'll see how they can do. But the time that you're really looking to kind of improve on from last season, and this was at the very start of the game cycle, was a 17-0 set by the Chiller, who was on pole position for Ferrari for the first F123 game cycle race of this tier last season. So now it's time to set our sights toward Q2 and figure out which one of our predictions will be correct, which one will not. Chat, glad to see you today, and glad to hope you guys can give some predictions as well. Owen, how about you start us off here for the Red Bull giving us a lap? That is the Chiller, who was on pole position for Ferrari last season.
The Chiller now coming into 2 and 1, taking all of the curb he can. Don't want to take too much of the rear end. We'll get very loosey goosey into turn 2. Down to turn 3 now. Very short straight into 3rd gear. Don't want to go down to 2nd. They need to combine all these corners like they're one fluid motion. And he's done that pretty well. Taking a bit of curb there, but dangerous. And then into one of my favourite corners. He's gone very wide. Horrible corner there, but he's massacred one of my favourite corners in the game. And now down the newest tarmacly paved straight. Rubbing his wheels all over the yellow lines. Crazy speed.
Oh!
And he's absolutely fumbled it. He carried way too much speed. And he absolutely
204.
bottled it.
That's what he hit. Wow. What do you say if you give us another chance of this with Be Good? You give us his first ever Q2 lap in RPL F1.
It's not as much curb as the Chiller, a bit squirrely on the rear end. Obviously taking the maximum exit curve as well. And then into turn 3, a lot tighter to the wall than the Chiller was. And using 4th gear, interestingly, as Jack goes quickest, 17.6. And a lot neater for that complex of corners there than the Chiller. And then through this corner, he actually hits the apex, beautifully taken.
Whoa! Flipstream!
He's going to get a big slip, big suck off his teammate. Could have been better, but not too shabby. It's going to give a few milliseconds at least. Again, hugging the wall. 44.5. Beautifully taken
Wow.
once again.
Wow.
And Cookie on the mediums again. He's just rubbing it in on all these other drivers. But Be Good is a stunning lap here.
Oh,
Oh, but a wee bit of a squirrely exos again. A wee bit of a
should be
rear
okay
end
though.
from Mr. Be Good. Also validating there in the exit of the corner. Nicely traction, losing a bit of rear again. And
Whoa!
he's always crashed into the
Wow!
wall. Oh, there you mate. Yeah, that
Still 1 second.
cost him a lot of time though.
It did. Oh my word.
What's he cooking?
I will say, they're not going to back down here from Cookie tonight and trying to give a fight. You could tell right now with what Be Good has just done on those laps. I mean, it was very, very scruffy. 2 or 3 times. I'm sure maybe Cookie had a mistake there too, but he's on the mediums though. You know, I say I'm sure Cookie had a mistake because he said the lap was not great for his Q1 one. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. So, you know, I am interested to see once he goes onto the softs, Cookie, what it will be like. Now, how about the reverse strip stream here for Scyther? Be Good is giving it. Be Good is absolutely giving it. We'll go on board with Scyther now for McLaren. Coming through the second sector. Let's see what he can do with the DRS applied. Below halfway on the battery already. 44.4, so a little bit faster through the second sector than his teammate. That's where he made the mistake previously. Now, he just can't go too deep into this corner as well. You got to find the time. You got to find the place to brake at the right moment. He's done it this a little bit better. Not on the inside curb. That's not where you want to be. You might lose time there. You might want to go for the exit. He's done just that. Not too much of the inside. Now the final 2 corners for Scyther. Just to the grass a little bit. Now this is exactly where Be Good made his mistake. So is Scyther going to do the same? No. Didn't perfect it too much, but this should be faster than Be Good. Is it faster than Cookie, though? It is going to be 3rd fastest, so he did lose time to Be Good, even with Be Good's mistake.
I just don't get it, man. Somebody needs to get close to him. Hopefully the Chiller gets a good lap in here. He's on the medium tires now.
Zakaria, by the way, did his lap on used tires, he said. Also, some of these guys, keep in mind, this is the session where they'll do some laps on used tires. How about the Chiller, pole sitter of this race last season? And I believe he ended up on the podium, but had penalties. No, he lost out in the last couple laps. It was TB taking the lead around lap 20-some, and then the Chiller just fell off in the last stint. He had a great pace in this season, or this race last season, excuse me. 26.9. He's going purple. He's not going to have any slipstreams compared to those 2 McLarens, so he's got to find time to stick it in between them. But Jack and Minico, who are up there, 4th and 5th, that's the area you want to be toward if you're a top car like the Chiller to be safe. 44.7, going purple. This is exactly where he made the mistake. A lot better that time through this area for the Chiller. Now, yellow flags for the cars on the side of the road backing out of their laps on in-laps. So the Chiller, very clean through that section. Said he has a lot of confidence, said he has a lot of chances, he thinks, to put the pressure on Cookie or at least be ahead of those McLarens. Is that true? Is that false? The difference compared to the McLarens is the Chiller is also on the mediums. What can he do on those mediums? The Chiller is 7th fastest, 5/10 off the teammate.
Just heartbreaking.
Well, TTM Barney is on a lap reserving for Aston Martin tonight. Let's see what he can do. Aston had a podium in this race last season with Boss Cookie. Now, 27-2 through the first sector for Barney. Barney had a decent run last week. P5 for him. Must be said that he's put in some decent performances in his return to RPL. I said last season at Brazil that it was a debut for him. It's not. He was in this league in Season 5. And some of those races will be posted on the YouTube in the off-season, or the off weeks coming up. The 2 for holidays, he slid. He's backed out of it. And he will maybe go for another one. He's definitely going to have to go for another one to get into Q3.
Ooh, 6 minutes left to go. This last lap in the session is going to be an all-in nothing lap to get through into Q3, and my drop zone people are looking pretty accurate so far, apart from Tadpole. So if Florian and Tadpole could set laps, my bottom five would be very accurate. And Florian is about to start a lap. He's the only car on the track. Never mind. Hunter's command circuit. Only car and a half lap. Mr. Florian Van Delta, here he comes.
So, one thing before you go over this lap, Owen, I've got confirmation that there is no rain for the race. So, no rain
Lovely.
expected. No rain
It's
expected for qualifying
Australian
either.
evening.
Yeah, started the season out quite well with that. So now take over for Florian, who needs to get this lap with a decent time in order to get through to Q3.
Well, he's doing a bit of a genius strategy here to do his one and only lap, I assume, on the counter strategy sort of. So you know when everyone else is in the pit lane, he's coming out to do his lap. So only issue with this, as he sets a brilliant 44.7 in the second sector. Only issue with this is that he's only going to have a one and done deal in qualifying unless he's overfueled. So he's got to make this one opportunity count. The AlphaTauri, obviously the slowest car in the game, Florian, they're one of the quickest drivers, I'd say top 10 quickest drivers in the whole league across all tiers. And
Oh,
a bit of a squirrely exit. It's just Florian's got the pace, but in the race it falls apart. But qualifying is where he excels. And is he going to do it again and show it again? Yes, he does. P8, brilliant all lap.
we gave him driver of the day last week in Saudi Arabia for a reason. He put in a good performance in qualifying. He did the same in the race, and he's going to try to do the same once again this week. 8th place. The lap time should be semi-safe, but you got drivers in that bottom 5 right now, like Lewis Piper. I mean, Barney's in a fast car in that Aston Martin. He should be up there. So this is going to be very interesting to see. He should maybe be knocked down to 10th Florian by the time the session ends, as Hunted invalidates the lap he's just gone on to. It shall be interesting to see where he goes. I mean, Florian maybe at a worst 10th, but it depends on what the drivers around him do. Hunted will need to improve 4 tenths. Zacharia's going to need to improve massively. He was on used tires. Redfire as well is 11th. Wavy's on an outlap. He's about to come start one. We'll go on board with him. And, you know, he's going to switch over to this car like we said in Tier 2. This should be a lot more comfortable for him considering how the Mercedes has handled to his liking, or disliking at least I should say, in the first 2-3 rounds of Tier 2. And as he comes through the first couple corners now, we must mention that this car, with Cookie last season, on podium, and at the time, probably anywhere from the 2nd to 4th fastest car. Now we can't really say the same because that's taken over with McLaren and Ferrari and maybe a little bit of Merc. Aston probably being either the 5th or 6th best car in this game. 27-0. What's Wavy going to need to find here in the rest of the lap time in order to get through, Owen?
Well, just need to keep the Aston Martin. I did it in the Formula Endurance, so it was quite a nice little car. It's just like this is what me and Luke said. It's sort of like an obese Mercedes. It's the same sort of handling. It's just a lot heavier, so you have to slog it into the corners a lot rougher than the Merc. But yes, he just needs to basically just slog into these corners. You have full commitment in the car, and this is those cars where you need to just push your absolute hardest to maximize your pace. If you back off at all, the car will obviously not be fulfilling its maximum potential. And we'll find out if he's absolutely done that, and he goes P8. So it's a good little lap from him.
18-0 from him, just 2 tenths ahead of Florian. That lap time on the cutoff zone, 18.6. We'll see what happens. On a lap now is also Hunted. Either his or mine, but he is lagged there. The Chiller goes second fastest for Red Bull. So, Red Bull, they've had 5 in a row in terms of their pole positions, looking to make it a 6-1 with both their drivers being safe. The Alpine getting a slipstream here of Hunted. What can he do? What's this going to do with Florian as well, who was just 9th fastest? It puts him to 10th fastest. Hunted is 5th, and he should be safe into the next session. We're going to see a lot of the lap times improve. Minico's next for Ferrari, excuse me. Ferrari were on pole position in this race last season. How about fastest in Q2 for Minico, the Canadian driver? Red Fire's on a lap as well. Florian is starting one. We'll see who else is next across the line. I think it's the Aston Martin of Barney. He should be able to get to the flag in time. Florian's the next one behind him. He should be able to get to the flag as well, as long as there's no errors. We've got Wavy on an in-lap or on a recharge lap, which is what it looks like. Next across the line will be Lewis Piper, who's not had a lap in this session. Last season, he was out in Q1. And in fact, for Mercedes, they've had 38 races in a row where they've got points. But now, it's not going to be Q3 for Lewis Piper unless he gets to the line and gets another lap in. He should get another lap in, but it's going to be with no battery to spare. Tadpole.
So he's backed it off. He's out. Lewis Piper is out.
Tadpole's next for Alpine. Checkered flag is waving. This could knock Florian out. He could be out in qualifying in Q2 for a second consecutive season. He will be. Tadpole has gone 8th fastest. Next across the line is Zakaria, who qualified P11 last season. This season, it will be P11 again currently. Red Fire next for Haas. That lap was not so great, the first one. The second one looks to be improving, but is it enough? It's P10 for him. Next across the line will be the Aston Martin of Barney. The teammate of Wavy is down on the time, so Wavy is not going to get through. It's up to TTM Barney or Florian if he's on a lap. Florian is on a lap. So Barney coming through now for Aston Martin. Really good result last week. Not going to be good enough for Q3 this week. So now, Red Fire, who's in, will have Dainty ahead of him, safe. But now it's up to Florian, who last season qualified P14, is currently P14. He's going to move himself up to the top 10 once again. P8 for him. Red Fire Tiger is knocked out once again.
P11, though, I think Mr. Tiger should be very thrilled with that. An improved session from what I'm used to seeing from Mr. Red Fire. P11 and a half, not too shabby at all. Lewis Piper should be absolutely heartbroken. His lap, I was checking, was 17.4, but that would have put him P3 or P4 if he didn't invalidate some of the last corners on the circuit. He will be absolutely heartbroken.
So, a shame there for some. For others, absolute delight. Like surprises such as Tadpole, Dainty, Florian, and maybe even Haunted in there as well for Alpine, who is right in between Scyther and Jack. So it took a 17-8 to get through from Dainty, but in the drop zone, we have the following drivers. We have Red Fire, Wavy, Barney, Zakaria, and Lewis Piper, who invalidated, and a big surprise there for Mercedes. None of their cars in Q3, they're outside the top 10 again, but they have a chance to be inside the top 10 for a 39th race in a row in terms of points. So you have Red Fire for Haas, Wavy for Aston, Barney for Aston, Zakaria for Williams, and Lewis Piper for Mercedes. So with that being said, you got to put it up there. The fact that 4 Mercedes-powered cars were out of qualifying. A Ferrari-powered car with Haas out with Red Fire. But what this means with the drivers we had out here is this. We had nobody get through from the Mercedes Academy.
There.
Beatnik, there's no Williams Heritage tonight. Sorry to break it to you. Well, Q3 about to get underway. Let's get our poll predictions in and our top 3 in and what we think the lap time will be. I'm going to check Twitch to see what the lap time was for Q2 because it was on mediums. We should mention that. So it was a 17-2 at the top of the table. I'm thinking poll time is going to be better than last season by quite a bit. I'm going for a 16-7 maybe. Maybe 16-6. I think some of them are on used tires, so I'm going 16-6. I think there's a chance for a 16-5. I won't discount that. But I will say 16-6. Top 3. No particular order. Cookie. Be Good. and Scyther. I will say, though, I'm going to put this out there. Those Ferraris have been sandbagging, and I'm saying that right now with a lot of confidence. They've been sandbagging, but I'm not putting them in my top 3. I will say, though, will they be close to the top 3, or could they be the one that I did not include to get to the top 3? Yes, they can. Owen, your predictions?
Pole position will be Cookie. P2 will be Minico. And P3 will be Good.
Yeah, if I had to put anybody on pole position, it would be Cookie. Be Good could be a surprise here in a debut start. Yeah, fair point. Minico as well. Something to mention is he's getting his opportunity tonight in probably the best car he's been in. He's been in a Mercedes before. The thing with Minico is we see the Chiller start a lap. We'll watch him. The thing to mention, no Canadian driver has ever had pole position in RPL F1. No Canadian driver has ever had a podium or a win. So Minico could be the first one to do that tonight, as he is the Canadian driver in RPL, let alone the only one. The Chiller, 26.9 through the first sector. He's going to get a slipstream here from Cookie, but the problem is he's invalidated the lap the Chiller has. So now he switched to Jack. How about you cover Jack? You're Owen. You're Pookie.
My little boyfriend on his lap. The big straight, the Ferrari is 130, 325 kph is the top speed in that Ferrari. Very quick. Absolutely gliding through the chicane. Absolutely monumental. And into the final sector. Very short on the... Very good braking there. Very short distance. And sticking to the track like a train sticks to the rails at the moment, but a little bit wide there from Jack, actually. Not as tight on the inside as you want to be there. Not using as much curb as we've seen on the exit of the final corner. Across the line, it's going to be a low 17. It's going to be a 17.2. Still 2 tenths off what the Chiller was able to do a season ago. What's his teammate going to do, though? That's 18.3. Absolutely diabolical lap.
Be Good invalidated for McLaren. Not going to be good for him. The Chiller starts a lap. We'll watch the Chiller's lap. I'm going to quickly go AFK. So how about you cover what the Chiller can do here for Red Bull? Can he put it up there like he did last season?
So the Chiller's last season lap was a 17.0, as we mentioned many times. In the Red Bull, you'd expect him to go around 5 tenths quicker, considering we are long into the game cycle now. You know, everyone's got a lot quicker, a lot more familiar with the handling model. The Chiller on 26.8 first sector. Here we come then through the new part of the circuit that was introduced last game. DRS activated now, swapping over to the left side as the track also does the same. They're moving swiftly back to the right, not getting as close to the walls we've seen, but pretty close anyway. Not perfect through the little chicane either. And need a pinpoint in the braking zone now. Very late on the brakes. Perfectly taken in there. Nice acceleration. Beautiful. A lot of curb usage. And then to the final 2 complex of corners. Tying them together like your shoelace. And he's done that brilliantly. Is the Chiller going to get into the 16s? That's disappointing.
17.3. We've got Scyther for McLaren, who ended up starting things really, really well once it became round 3 last season. He missed last week. He's going to be 3rd right now, so it's still close there at the top. Not very, very close, but still close. We got Reese Dainty, the Season 9 champion, on a lap. He was 2nd in this race last season. It was a Red Bull 1-2. Let's go on board with the Alfa Romeo driver. Our last hot lap, potentially, of this session. So, Dainty coming through this area of corners. 3, 4, and now he comes through 6 and 7. Right up here at the sector split. 27-0. Trying to absolutely over-push the limits on this Alfa Romeo. He knows he's not going to be anywhere in that top 6 area, so you may as well be near these Alpines of Haunted and Tadpole, and especially ahead of Florian in this AlphaTauri. Coming across the line is the Red Bull of Cookie. Where can he put it? He's going to put it for a 16.5. 6 tenths out of the competition. Already Red Bull on site for a 6th consecutive pole. So, Dainty comes through now, the final sector. He was in Red Bull last season, and he shared that podium with Cookie. So now, he wants to be able to share a good starting spot, just like Cookie has right now. The Chiller, into the pits, obviously. Only guy on track to come across the line and set a lap here is Dainty, that he invalidates by going past the track limits. He's invalidated this and the next lap, but it would have been an 18-0 just in between those Alpines.
Silly goose. So that means Be Good, Florian, and Dainty are all going to. They're only. Well, technically, Meneko's first lap was a bit of a stinker. It made a major mistake. Risky 7th, 8th, and 9th, and 10th. Oh, Florian's retired.
Oh, why is that?
What's he do? Well, he's going to be starting P10 anyway then. Yes.
Oh,
Meneko, Be Good, and
Cookie
Dainty
entered the
are
pits
one and done.
incorrectly. We need to penalize him. We need to strip him of pole position.
Ban him now.
Ban him. 7/10 clear pole. Can't be allowed. Take 2/10 off that pole. Like it'll make a difference. Either way, it's kind of silly if you don't put Cookie on pole position at this point in any prediction, I will say. And I say it because he's just so clear of the pack. I mean, he can just do what Ronhard does and just set that first lap so well. And we don't really see that from a lot of people in qualifying in RPL. We have L74G, who's the all-time stats guy, I'll say, because you can say he's the best driver statistically in RPL. Well, the fact of the matter for him, L74G, is that he had 43 wins, but he had 25 pole positions, though. So he wasn't great in qualifying. Whereas someone like Scyther, a similar win to pole ratio in a way, I guess you could say, 21 poles and 25 race wins, I believe, or 24. So, you know, you don't see drivers do this often. But what I will say, though, is if Cookie's not going to go out for another lap, what he at least should do is go out and give the Chiller a slipstream to make sure it's a Red Bull 1-2. They were 1-2 in this race last season, but they were not on pole position in qualifying last season. It was the Chiller. So at least give the Chiller a chance to share the front row. Therefore, if something happens to Cookie, at least your other teammate and your other driver in the team can control the race, let alone if something happens to, I guess, the Chiller in the race. It's Cookie who can control the pace, but the Chiller's defending for him, or the Chiller is doing the right thing for the team and being up there, whatever the case may be. If I'm Cookie, I would go out there and give the Chiller slipstream if you're not gonna go out for another one. Don't retire. Give your teammates slip like everyone else has been doing. It's worked perfectly for most of these guys, but I would do it in a different area than heading into Sector 3 like most have been.
Well, we'll find out shortly enough. The Chiller is about to come to the line. And Cookie, we're seeing no movement in the pit lane from him. So, oh, no, here we come. He's coming out now.
All right.
I believe it's it's too late for the Chiller to get a slipstream at all. So the Chiller is going to do his final run without any teamwork.
Well, we'll see. If you want to get out on track, the latest you go out, probably 140. Florian, not going to do a lap in the session. He has said to me that he is saving tires for the race. On a lap right now, it's Hunted, but the one who's going to chase pole position, or at least a top 2 starting spot, is the Chiller, who was on pole position last season with a 17-0. His lap time currently is 2/10 up, and that would set him near his pole time last season in a Red Bull. You know, he was in a Ferrari that time, so you're expecting the Chiller, you need to get toward a 16-9, if not better, considering where you were last season. Let's see how much of an improvement the second sector is. It's a 10th only, so he must have made a mistake at the beginning corners of Sector 2 to set him a little bit down on the time. The first car to cross the line will be Hunted. So, the Chiller, now in the final sector, he is currently going to be ahead of Jack, but he has to find some more time to at least secure it fully. You've got drivers like Scyther and Be Good and others who will improve for sure. if they don't invalidate. So now DeChiller will come across the line as Hunted goes fourth fastest. What can DeChiller do? DeChiller will be on the front row for now. It's second fastest, 3.5 tenths off of his teammate. Scyther is out. Scyther has crashed out of qualifying. Wow.
Well,
that is unusual from Scyther. We don't usually see the driver mistakes, and now it is coming in very much effective. Be good. Middle sector, 44.3. What's this going to be for the McLaren driver, who can only be probably the realistic chance to challenge, if it's not Minico or Jack, with Cookie. Be Good could challenge with Cookie because he has done that so far in qualifying, but Cookie was on the mediums. Be Good was on used softs. What difference does that make? So now, checkered flag is waving. Be Good, the first one to come across the line for McLaren. His teammate crashed out of qualifying. He's making his debut in Tier 1. He's had some good showings in Tier 2. And Be Good come across the line to set it second fastest. Purple in the final sector. Jack Miles is next. Can Jack Miles improve? No, he can't. So Jack Miles has lost time. And yellow flags as well in the last sector. I couldn't tell if that was for Minico or not. But in the second sector, he was improving. So he could still set this very well. He's going to be the only realistic target up there. So now, here comes Minico. Can he go up to the top 2 or 3? He's going to be just off of it. Fourth fastest, head of the teammate. So now, it is going to be Cookie getting a 6th straight pole for Red Bull. And all time for Cookie, this is his 5th pole, tying him with Matt GW.
Oh, that's an interesting stat. I thought Matt would have had more.
14th all time.
That's crazy.
The interesting aspect of those poles in a row is 7 drivers have had 3 consecutive poles. Well, Cookie is the 8th different driver to do just that. And not only is he the 8th different driver to do that, though, but 5th in terms of all time for most consecutive poles Red Bull has. They've been on pole for 6 straight weeks, and it's 3 of them due to Cookie, a 16.5. He is in front over Be Good. Be Good second fastest, DeChiller 3rd, Minico 4th, and Jack 5th to make it 5 different nationalities in the top 5. Hunted 6th, Scyther 7th. That's a bit of a shock, wouldn't you say? Dainty 8th. Nice qualifying from him. Tadpole 9th, and Florian 10th did not get a lap in. Wanted to save a set of tires, but I'd say the big shock for me, in terms of positive shocks, would be Hunted. Negatively would be Scyther, because that is a big surprise for him being crashed out of qualifying.
I'm stunned that excuse for Scyther and Bobber has made such silly mistakes this so many silly mistakes these sessions.
We'll have TB and
he's been doing. He's a silly goose.
Mercedes. Cam and Alfa Romeo for the race, by the way. Owen, just to remind you. I know you were trying to remind yourself of the 2 names. They have joined. We'll see if they're in the right car, though. Cookie crashed as well, the same corner. Someone must have split oil. Barney predicted a 16.3 for pole. It was a 16.5. Oh, got 2 people leaving the session. Whoa. We'll have to get them back in. Welpdang and Wavy, I think their 2 were. I can get Welpdang, I think. I think I added him right beforehand. Okay. And you'll have to get Wavy. Either way, the strategy for tonight, you should be expecting drivers to either go soft hard or medium hard. I doubt we'll see a soft medium, but there's always a small opportunity if you get maybe a VSC here, or if your car is really good with tire saving. We'll find out. See who's starting out with tire in the meantime.
I wonder what tires everyone's starting on.
Be Good said he's just guessing on what tires to go with.
Some
or fuel, I meant.
On soft compound tire.
Yep, so time to adjust the fuel. Time to adjust the tires. The 5 lights are coming on for the final time in RPL F1 in 2023. Before 2024 lights are out, away we go. And racing is underway as Cookie got a decent start. Be Good going to be challenging De Chiller for second place. Side by side to turn 1 they go. And they collided. Be Good and De Chiller have come together in the opening corner. And they're down to plumb last. Both of them hunted up to 3rd place. The podium for Alpine already side by side here into the late braking zone. It's going to be Jack breaking the latest. Hunted trying for a switchback. Can't get it. Scyther there to challenge. Tadpole there as well. And how about Redfire and Florian getting spots as Cam with a 3-second time penalty. TB up places. 11th place already for the Mercedes driver who had started all the way back in 19th. Here he goes on Lewis Piper, his teammate, to try to make it another place. 9 places for TB already. And you can see here, coming through the chicane for the first time, it's always a tricky chicane. Drivers usually make mistakes in DNF there, but the one who's gone off there is Wavy Knife.
Is he in the game? Wavy Knife?
No. We'll have to check. 4 places for Redfire, 3 for Tadpole, 2 for Scyther, 2 for Hunted, 2 for Jack, 2 for Minico, 9 for TB, 6 for Cam. The big losers, Be Good, De Chiller, Whelp Dang, and Wavy. Now Dainty takes another place on the previous teammate of Dainty. And in fact, the 2 past champions in this RPL F1 tier. Now, Hunted and Jack gonna go side by side. Hunted breaking a little bit later. Lunges, gets the move done. Behind that, Redfire and Florian also gonna jewel it out side by side here. This area gets a little bit narrow, gets a little bit tricky, and that's going to allow TB because the battling to get through, and Redfire Squirmich is off the road, but somehow will keep the place over Lewis Piper.
The Chiller has a little squabble with Cam. They got a bit loosey-goosey, wheelie together. The Chiller got all loose.
Through.
And yes, Scyther through on Jackie Miles. The Chiller's lost several positions. No Be Good is ahead of him. Oh, massive collision with Lewis Piper!
Lewis Piper is off, so is the Alfa Romeo of Cam. And that's the virtual safety car. Out and deployed.
I have no idea what happened. I just saw it in the distance when I was with looking at the Chiller Be Good area. And Cam must have been involved there, or yeah, Cam's got damage as well.
Yeah, Cam drove straight on there, I think, to maybe avoid him. Wavy Knife is back in the session. Whelp Dang is back in the session as well. So it's a virtual safety car. Not going to be upgraded, it looks like, but Cookie already out to a 3-second lead on those softs, in fact. So Cookie could be going soft, medium, or soft hard here.
Oh, lunatic.
You did it in Bahrain. Why wouldn't you go balls to the walls once again? Well, Be Good said to De Chiller, well, that's crazy. And I think it's crazy that them 2 collided on the opening corner. 2 really good drivers, 2 drivers good on pace, 2 drivers looking very splendid for a good result tonight. Already below the top 10. And TB, you know, he missed qualifying. He said, oh, everything goes down when I'm not here for Mercedes or whatever the case is. He was having a little bit of playful banter. 8th place already for fake TB. That is already going to be worthy of driver of the day once we talk about his performance later. If he continues the pace. And here he goes on Florian. Move done already.
Make it sick.
This is absolutely impressive from fake TB. Won this race last season. Contact with Tadpole. That's the 2nd time he made contact. I don't think it was too egregious, though. But now, Tadpole has Florian down the inside. Florian's going to have to protect from Redfire, who's going to dive it down the inside. Side by side, they make contact. Now the door is open for TTM Barney as Wavy is off. But now, Redfire claims 8th place. Florian going to use the left side of the track to try to take this place back. Side by side action into turn number 1. Oh, Florian out ahead.
Have they not come to blows there?
I must say, Hunt is also putting a good performance in for Alpine tonight already. You know, I am impressed with that too. He really has done great for this team, being a last minute reserve, full-time driver in Tier 2, Tier 2 champion. And really,
out of nowhere back on the scene last Tier 2 season, as he gets overtaken by Academy teammate Scusser. He came out of nowhere.
yeah.
I hadn't seen him in F1 game in a few game cycles, and he just came back all of a sudden, and he was rapid and
Whoa!
fair play to him as he almost
Loose
into the wall.
Wow, what a save by Hunted, and he remains in this train of cars. At least okay. This DRS train goes from 3rd all the way to now 14th. It was 11th originally, but with the VSC ending, some of the drivers have caught up. And the Chiller and Be Good already at the back of this train as well, who collided in lap 1. Cookie sets the fastest lap, 5 seconds in front of Minico, who's having a nice little race, pulling that gap from 2nd to 3rd. And as you see here, TB is now going to put the pressure on Hunted. How does TB shape up this move for 5th place? He started 19th and he's already up here by lap 5. Incredible.
Genius. From TB to start of all the big incidents.
I mean,
he's benefiting from the fruits of his labor there.
There's a reason he's a champion here in RPL. You know, these champions aren't made off of Mickey Mouse luck or anything like that. Even the Chiller's a champion. He's a champion for a reason. But now, TB, 5th place here. Around the outside was not an option there for Hunted, or on Hunted, excuse me. But the Chiller has also got Zakaria, just as Be Good did previously. Now, this 4-car train has kind of pulled a little bit from the ones behind who continue to battle as Barney gets Red Fire. Red Fire ducking out, but not going to get the move done there. Going to have to stick behind and in front of that. TB now having a peek on Hunted. And there's a spin for Red Fire off in the grass. So now, TB. Yeah, if he tried to dive, that's a tricky area always. But TB is trying to dive at turn 1. Almost come into collision. Front and rear wheel there. But now, below 40% of the battery. Using it all. This is the previous car TB race, so he knows how to get a way around it, but he can't find a way around it yet. Hunted remains in P5.
Brilliant.
What a nice performance from the Welsh driver.
Brilliant driving from both of them. Red Fire Tiger went for a dive bomb in the second last corner like he did on Florian a few laps prior. This time, Barney was having none of it, and Red Fire Tiger went way too deep, mounted the curb and hit him, and that was what caused his little spin. But TB will be looking to make sure that he does not do the same mistake of Mr. J. Nichols in the Red Fire Tiger.
Well, what can TB do? He's still tantalizingly close, and now heating up the move again. DRS, battery also being used. Down the inside, he throws it. They make contact. That's Hunted into the gravel. Through to contact, and Tadpole goes through. So TB, very argy-bargy as the Chiller gets P11.
Hunter is all over the road now. He's been clearly been shocked by that, and he needs to regain his composure here.
Well, due to that contact and battling, it was Jack pulling away from TB, almost getting him out of DRS, but TB back in it here as Jack hunts down Scyther for P3 in this race. Minico also still keeping the gap over Scyther. For Ferrari, obviously Cookie on those soft tires is going to continue to pull away, but once it becomes that area of lap 9 for Cookie, that's when the soft tires will not be the fastest tires anymore. So that gap will kind of start to shrink or just be stabilized. Florian gets Tadpole. Little lag there.
Ghosting going on.
Jack
Miles is through.
Yes, he is. And has double DRS, as we were going to mention earlier. Florian and Tadpole once again close, but not close enough. The Chiller also on the back of Barney. Does it shape a move here? No. So the Chiller, for what may be a 3rd week in a row, definitely a 2nd week to start the season, having to do another recovery drive. I mean, I would say, had to do one of these at Qatar in RPL Tier 2 in Season 9 in a Red Bull. What is these recovery drives like for a driver like the Chiller, as 3 drivers now have a penalty?
Well, Qatar's a much easier track, I'd say, to come through the field. You got that massive straight as Jack goes for swap positions again. You got that massive straight. So the Chiller doesn't really have that here, and he's got the issue of all the cars in front being in a huge DRS train. So I was quite lucky that I was able to select or to knock off drivers who were maybe in a train of 2 or 3 at most, whereas the Chiller's got about 6, 7 cars ahead, who he should be overtaking. But because of the DRS, as we can see here on board with Barney, who's going for Hunted, the Chiller should be all over the back of these two. But because of the DRS, the Chiller's going to get gapped almost,
Oh!
and Barney's going to go around the outside. No, he's going to pull it off. No, he's dying.
Close quarter racing puts Barney in front of Hunted. Hunted going from 4th to 10th. At one point, he was 3rd. My goodness. Hunted really losing out after that contact with TB. And now, Tadpole about to lose DRS to TB, in fact, since we spoke of him. My goodness. So, Tadpole having a screen freeze right here. Caught Florian off guard. Be Good is going to be good and take this place over Florian. Yellow flags. Who is that for?
It's Welp Dang in the final corner.
Ah,
In
that would make
the
sense.
he comes. At least he's back in the lobby anyway. That's all you can really hope for.
Making his debut too, which is nice. It's always good to see. You know, you want to make your debut somewhere in RPL. Scyther now 2 seconds behind Minico. Finding some time here. Be Good also on the academy teammate of Tadpole, who does not have any more DRS to the train in front. So here's Be Good trying to get back up the field. He's done a better job than the Chiller has at it for sure. He gets the place. And Florian has to also remain behind Tadpole here in the chicane. Be Good double DRS, so Florian's going to have his chance on Tadpole now. Florian, which way does he go? Does he send a late one? Lunging, side by side, they touch! Tadpole's around!
What are you doing, lads?
Why? It was in the braking zone. It was way too late. That's my point. If Florian just fixes the racecraft and stuff like that, he definitely deserves to be here in Tier 1. But moves like that just absolutely have the backlash right in his name.
This is I feel little sorrow for Florian when he does this, because he's been called so many times, even in the Ferrari Discord last season when he was in our car in the not last season, a few seasons ago. It was last season, sorry.
Yeah,
he started a few races in the Ferrari. We told him, all right, mate, you're quick enough to win this championship easily. Yeah, Tier 2, sorry. Easy enough to win this championship. You just need to make sure that you stop crashing into people. And we told him that. I was in the middle of giving him a lecture about it, and he left the call in the middle of me telling him to stop being an idiot. So I have little sorrow for him.
I do have a little too.
He needs to just wise up here. Even in the season he fought me for the title, he should have won the championship against me. But again, it was just the racecraft. God kept getting so many penalties.
There's the Chiller.
He just needs to calm down.
Sorry to cut in. Yeah, just the Chiller made the move there on Hunted. Was looking to do so on Barney. Yeah, I think the Chiller has had some patience here when making these moves, but he's also got caught behind a couple more cars than Be Good did. Be Good is into the pit lane, speaking of him. He's the first one to come in from the mediums. This is around the time you'd expect him to come in for hards. So we should have probably said this. This is around the time. Anywhere from lap 9 to now. And here's the Chiller easily making the move with DRS blasting past. He's going to have DRS again here as Florian picks up a penalty. Here's Barney looking, who does not have DRS, can't make the move. So now they're single file on this train once again. Florian almost hitting the back of Hunted, luckily not doing so. And Tadpole behind Zakaria in the battle for P11 here, which is the first chance to get points if anything happens. Yellow flags. But now, here is Be Good and Shanghai side by side. Tadpole's to cause the yellow flags. That's a virtual safety car.
Oh, dear. What's Tadpole, what are you doing, lad?
Again. Around. What
What are
in
you
the
doing,
world?
lad?
What has happened with him? He's
He's
retired.
retired on
On
track.
track.
Interesting. Easy clip taken from him.
Easy.
He tried to
Easy.
crash on purpose, and then he retires on track.
Yeah. If he was not crashing on purpose, the only thing I can assume is that lag out message was late. I'm not saying he didn't, but what I am saying though is if he didn't, and if that was not his plan, with the help of virtual safety cars, Cookie can easily go to the mediums. If he stayed out a couple extra laps, he would have had a puncture. So Cookie has timed this perfect with the virtual safety car. Most of the field
Jack
pitting.
gonna get him?
Oh ho ho!
No.
Whoa. TB also pitting. Barney, the Chiller. Florian, Dainty. Yeah, so
The Chiller could,
no surprise there.
get beat there in their little recovery drive fight, and he is. The assistance of the virtual safety car is actually the virtual safety cars hinder Be Good. And look, he's lucky to get through all those cars, but he's stuck behind Hunted now, Mr. Be Good is, and the Chiller's got 2 cars in between them.
The academy teammate, not gonna help him out there. Jack close to Cookie. Minico also has some pressure from Scyther, which is a bit of a surprise there, because Scyther's really caught him in the end of the stint here. Tadpole blaming the game. I don't know what part of the game he's blaming, but he's got the academy cars of Be Good and Hunted that he'll have to look out for this race now. With that being said, it's Wavy. 5th different driver to pick up a penalty. Here's Be Good now, making a move. Unhunted is through. Yeah, if he didn't retire on track, I really wonder, did he lag out before and we got the message late? What happened? You know, I'm not sure what the case was. I don't really understand that, because it did look very bad as Cookie now through on Scyther. But now, being held up by Minico. This will be very interesting. What does Minico do with Cookie? Does Minico continue through his own race? Or does he try to help maybe Jack Miles catch back up? I don't know. Can't really help Jack too much because Jack is on the same strategy, but Be Good is through on Barney as the Chiller picks up an annual race penalty.
And Tadpole is trying to play it off as if it was a glitch.
Well, let's see his point of view. He streams his races. Hopefully he streamed this one. Let's find out. Yellow flags. That is, I believe, the Alfa Romeo of Cam. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens here now, because if that virtual safety car played in Cookie's hands, it's really a battle for second now, and that battle for second is kind of widened up, I'll say. It's completely wide open. Now Florian on Dainty, both pitted. Dainty on mediums, Florian on hards. Everyone who pitted earlier on in that virtual safety car pitted for the hards. They were on the mediums, and except for Dainty, of course. And those on hards will surely pit for mediums here soon. That should be anywhere from probably lap 15 onwards, or right around that area. And one other thing as well, it was to be expected Cookie going soft mediums with the help of virtual safety cars.
Yes, he should be fine, basically, to get to the end of this Grand Prix. He's basically going to win this race by a whole pit stop now because of the
Yeah.
virtual safety car.
You lose.
We'll have our very
Let's
own
see.
Max Verstappen.
18 seconds in the pit lane. And his closest guy is TB. And he's 16 seconds, at least on the same strategy, I should say, to clarify. So, yeah, that's one we'll have to look out for.
It's TB pit.
Yes, he did. The Chiller and KVS, who's had a quiet race here, it must be said. In front of that, TB gets Zakaria, who is yet to pit. The Chiller gets KVS, who's yet to pit as well. Hunted also in the back of Barney and Be Good. Hunted is going to have some patience here. Is now Lewis Piper in the penalty box. Actually, second time he's had a penalty. It's 6 seconds now. Excuse me.
These are absolute melons, mate. Giving penalties.
Well, let's
Maybe
find out.
they're confused because the track limit lines around the circuit are yellow instead of white.
Maybe. Fair point made there.
But you
Let's see.
within the lines, lads.
So, let's see. 3-car train here for P9. Once again, halfway through. Cam with another penalty.
There.
My Minnesota Vikings have just lost the game. Unfortunate. For those
Yes,
Minnesota
come
Viking
on.
fans, such as Titan, Beatnik, if you were tuning in to this race while watching, I did not forget about that. I had it on the side of the screen while we were watching these battles. Unfortunate end there. But someone who's looking for a more fortunate end is Scyther and Minico, who really, I'm surprised, have come to a battle now. And Jack Pitts trying to get the undercut on these guys. He was 3 seconds back. We should be seeing Scyther Pitts soon. With that said, though, by the way, this is the battle for second. Yellow flags for maybe Lewis Piper? Saw it around his area. Be good against KVS, who's ended up staying out again, trying to extend. Dainty in this train now in mediums. Jack in this train. Dainty got the undercut, it looks like, because of that VSC, as the Chiller gets Zakaria. So I say it's the battle for second, but it may not be, actually.
No, they will not be the battle for second. Maybe at the end of the race when they eventually, if they eventually catch up to the likes of TV, but at the moment, it's fight for P11, probably.
Well, let's see. Here's KVS and Hunted. Ding Dong battle once again. This train is just absolutely giving us some neat battles, some neat overtakes, and one collision earlier on. Now, with KVS continuing to stay out, does Dainty take advantage here of the Academy teammate? Is this what KVS was trying to do? Cam, out of this race in the pit lane. The second retirement last season. It was 2 retirements in this race. Florine was one of them, in fact. And now, same retirements as last time in this race last season. 16 laps in. As Zakaria, Minico, finally in.
Minico has been robbed.
Oh, that glitch. Wow. So Cam, the Academy teammate, screws him over.
I'd be getting Cam out of that car immediately for what he just did. That's disgusting behavior. He's just cost Minico 10 seconds.
Tell what you said there.
What's an absolute horrible human being.
Wavy, another penalty to his name. How many penalties is this for Wavy? 6 seconds? Shanghai, 6 seconds? I mean, I'm going to take the assumption that, you know, you can appeal track limit there at turn 4, where you just continuously get it due to just one track limit warning. And Hunted went a little wide there, made a mistake. Yellow flags for Wavy now again. No front wing.
Oh.
No VSC or safety car from this, though.
It's an absolute hero. This is why he is the greatest top-scoring Merc Tier 2 driver in history.
Well, letting us
a total
competitors
of
go.
0 points in 3 races.
With a 3-second.
That's my teammate right now.
Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. Is that Wavy pulling off as if he's retired? Nope. Just trumbling around with the front wing broken.
Just letting everyone through.
Yeah, just fair enough.
He's in a
Going for a stroll.
1960s F1 car here without the front wing.
Yeah, why not? So now we look at this train that Jack has caught himself up to, because I say it could be the battle for P2. Well, right now, if Scyther Pitts, these guys are battling for P4, and maybe the podium with the Chiller's penalty. Because the Chiller has really cost himself with that 3-second he has picked up earlier on.
He's an absolute muppet, Chiller, to be fair.
Now, by the way, if TB does get this podium and Scyther does not, as Hunted picks up a penalty, TB will be second on the all-time podiums list with 40 podiums after today.
That's crazy.
I mean, it really is. It really is. And Florian, a penalty to his name, now being overtaken from Minico, P10. So that time that he's been costing Minico really could have been the difference of him being in this train or not, as Scyther finally pits for McLaren, who've had points 16 races in a row. You better hope to come out toward the points so both cars can have a chance at the end of this race as Red Fire with a 3-second penalty. And now Lewis Piper has crashed out of this race. It's a safety car. Lewis Piper has crashed in the final sector. And this is going to change the complexion of this race completely.
An interesting dynamic has just evolved into this Grand Prix. This is going to make things very interesting. Cookie's 25.9 second lead is evaporated. Wow. Scusser's pit stop there is just absolutely... He's fumbled it hard. Minico, if he didn't get screwed over by his academy teammate, would have been so far up the road on Scusser, it's unimaginable. This has come out in a very precarious position here, and now with a safety car, he's screwed, basically. Unless all these cars are from pit. They're on
16
relatively freshish tires, a lot of them. 7 to 8 lap 1 tires.
16
Cookie's
of the
coming in
last
for the softs.
25 races, and those softs can go to the end. It may be a little tricky when it comes to the last 2 or 3 laps on tire wear, but Cookie will be fine. Do anybody else pit from the top
4
half?
all in. Top 6
Yes.
all in. Jack's coming in, Dainty's coming in, Scusser's staying out on his
Reasonably
fresh
so here.
mediums. So Scusser's going to come out in second. However, everyone else will be on the soft compound tire.
The thing is, you know, with the help of the safety car, those softs should be okay at the end, though, at the last 2 laps. But Scyther will probably be maybe level, maybe just about level with those guys in softs in the last 2 laps. Hunted pits for mediums, Red Fires on mediums. The rest of the competitors go to softs. So, a very interesting turn of events in this race.
Hunter's on the mediums, I don't know what he's doing.
I'm thinking he's thinking what Scyther's thinking. You know, I don't really see the need of why Hunted pitted then, but I do see the fact that, you know, if there's no more safety cars, no more VSCs, if these soft guys battle continuously, they will use up their tire wear. So, you know, maybe Hunted's thinking that this will be the case. Tons of battling. And TB apologizing to KVS for a VSC restart. We've got Cookie, who, if he wins today, could tie Joe Loke and Gecko on the all-time win list with 4 wins. Scyther, as well, is running P2, has currently had a podium in 10 of his last 12 starts, and now looking to make it 11 of 13. We've got the Chiller, who has a penalty, by the way, in 4th, who has a chance for a podium tonight if he just extends a 3-second gap. He's now had a podium since round 11 last season of Hungary. So, lots to play for here right now. 2 DNFs last season in this race, 3 right now. Safety car as well, which happened again last season too. We have a lot that can happen to finish things off. Let's keep you up to date on where we are next week for our events. Or sorry, not next week. Next race, excuse me. We've got Formula 1 next at Baku to start 2024. We've got Tier 2 next as well to start 2024 at Japan. And Scyther may have just tried to overtake Cookie, or tried to overtake Cookie. It may have been his AI. But Formula Endurance, final race of 2023, the year, tomorrow at Zandvoort. I will quickly go AFK, but while we're at it, Owen, any thoughts on this race being 2/3 of the way done?
No. Well, yes, ladies and gentlemen. Will Cookie run away with it? Highly likely. His pace on these tires is obviously just going to surpass everybody else, really. obviously we're hoping with the safety car this is going to bring everyone closer to Cookie, and hopefully someone can beat him. But unlikely, as Skisser is going to be the what do you call it, the cork in the bottle, the stop the bubbly pack behind from spraying out to the bottle. I reckon we're gonna have some interesting scenes with the two Ferraris who are way out of position due to the earlier VSC and now this safety car. So they're gonna have to, really get a move on here if they want to get a podium in this Grand Prix. Minico in particular has been absolutely robbed. It's quite upsetting, really. Cam retiring the pit lane, completely ruining the Ferrari boys race. But hopefully is a good recovery. And what else can we think about here? KVS is on the medium tyres. He did not pit for the safety car. Zakaria did not pit for the safety car. He pitted a lap before, I believe. Wavy Knife is in the middle of the pack. He's a lap down. So he will not be... he's basically not racing at the moment. He may as well pull off and let everyone go, but yes. Cookie and Skisser again with a little bit
Again?
frustrating overtake.
Why not? Right? Why not? May as well find a way to get the lead. I'm kidding. You can't legally do that, I guess. But, no, I will say, as we head to our events in 2024 and Formula Endurance, things have gone quite well with how we've been going. I know there's 6 of you watching tonight. Not our usual number count, but what I will add, though, is our Twitch has got a lot of new followers, new viewers. 10 off this year. So if you're not following the RPL Twitch, make sure you do so. Follow the RPL YouTube. Follow all of our socials. It is the same name on all of them. RPL Formula 1. We're about to get this restart underway. And, I think of the stat that could be one Cookie's looking for tonight. One that would be equally Joe Loke all time and wins. If he could just pull this off. Green flag back underway. We're pedal to the metal once again. Cookie leads them off into turn number 1.
Here we go!
Jack. Oh, Wavy's crashed. Wavy is... Oh, he's retired on track. Oh, there's a collision. Shanghai had contact and he's now around, but he saves it. Going in a straight direction once again. Both Ferraris in the restart already hungry and gaining places. So they needed to do that to have a chance for a podium. They've done just that. So now, Jack using the battery. What's that going to do in terms of gaining on Barney, who in front of that has sights set on Be Good, who's gaining onto Chiller. What's going to happen here? Minico gets hunted. Now, for P4, Be Good. Is he close enough? No. TB on the back of Scyther as well for P2 in this race. Both come into this race with 39 podiums all time. They'd like to have a 40th, but they're going to jewel it out for the 40th. Here we go. Second place is now TB's.
This is expected. Skisser's going to get swallowed up, I reckon. Here, he's on the medium tire. Not a good tire compared to everyone around him. Be Good go for the move on the Chiller. He can't pull it off around the outside, but yes, expect Skisser to start plummeting. He needs to really just stick TD here. Once the DRS comes activated, he could be okay, but if he doesn't get a move on in these next 2 laps, it could be game over for Mr. Skisser. Yeah.
Be Good still swarming up the Chiller. Can he find a way past? We'll find out. He has a chance to be ahead of the Chiller once the penalties get applied, because both of them have them. Both of them have penalties. We'll see how that happens.
Barney doing well on P6 as well to stick
Once
relatively
again.
well with the top guys.
Second week in a row. Nicely done from him. Well, we'll see if he's worthy of our driver of the day contention. I think, you know, he's one of them. TB's one of them. We'll find out afterwards. We'll talk about it later. But now the battling continues. Jack Miles on the back of him once again. It feels like whenever Barney has one of these performances, Jack Miles always right there. It happened in Brazil. I believe these two were battling even prior to that. Or maybe I'm thinking of something else then. But here we go. Battle for the podium once again. Be good close. Not close enough. How about Jack getting Barney? Jack is through up into 6th place. He reclaims that spot he once had, but now he's after the top 2 positions.
Dear. Minico's going to get past him as well, Mr. Barney. So Jack needs to start pushing in. The 2 cars from him got a penalty. He's going to beat them anyway, get P4. But if he wants that podium, he's going to hope for some
Barney.
craziness. But Be Good's going to fight it.
Oh. Well,
very close there. There are 99 milliseconds between them, and now the DRS, as I said, is activated now. So Scusser could be in in the running here now.
it's some position swapping right there in the background in that back of the train as Barney picked up a penalty. Now Scyther howling up TB. Is he close enough? No, he's not. Be Good. Still in the back of this train. You got Jack there who's charging as well. Minico got Barney, by the way. Dainty got hunted, and now KVS going to be the one outside the points to challenge. How about Be Good and DeChiller side by side? DeChiller got him right there. Be Good still going wheel to wheel, but now DeChiller is the one out in front. Scyther closing in on their late stages of this race to try to make the move on TB for second. Is he close enough? TB slides, makes a mistake. Scyther now has the opportunity. He's going to use the outside line to the advantage. Long way around here in the heavy braking zone. TB in front. Now Be Good side by side. Here we go. Might be a penalty here. Automatic one. That'll be appealed. So, the Chiller is still in front, and Jack is there to pounce. Be Good slides again. The Chiller lost DRS right there. Very crucial to this race. Scyther regains second. Now, Be Good surely has to get the Chiller here with him not having DRS.
Was basically confirmed. Scusser's podium,
Woo!
considering he's already past TB as well. I'm surprised, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a lot worse for Scusser on the medium tires. Hunted is battling it out there on his medium tires, and he's obviously made an error there. And Jack going for the move on Mr. Good. That is Bede. And he can't finish it off there. And Minico, his teammates, were behind him.
Wow, Ferrari really putting the charge here in the final stage of this race with Red Bull's DeChiller having a penalty. Barney a little wide there at the exit of turn 1. TB again on the back of Scyther. Is it enough? No. Be Good also on the back of DeChiller. You saw him going from left to right earlier. He's not going to do this late in the braking zone again. Hunted and Dainty continuing to swap places. It's Hunted who will be in 9th place as they come through turn 4. We'll see what happens here. With just a couple laps remaining. Now's the time. It's now or never. TB losing some time to Scyther. Is this what Scyther expected by being on those medium tires? I definitely thought he'd be worse off too, Owen. But now, Minico trying to put the pressure on his teammate to at least get past these two. He knows if you can get past these two as Minico slides, you can have a chance at TB. Here goes Jack with a lot of overspeed down the inside. Little tap there on DeChiller from Be Good, but Jack runs in the back of DeChiller as he was side by side with Be Good, but could not get the place.
Man, this is crazy stuff. P4 to P8, all under a blanket. But obviously, 2 of these guys with penalties. The Chiller again, just need to keep it clean, man, because he's just disappointing from him. We should be doing better.
Here goes Be Good. Telling him to be good, because he's going to slide into him in the braking zone. A little late move from the Chiller causes Be Good to lose now 2 places. That was not being good from the Chiller. Dainty with a penalty. 10th place. KVS now, who's caught up to the back of that train right there, could be on for 8th place for Haas. Another points finish. Now, Be Good, Minico, Jack, now they're the ones charging after the Chiller. They're not going to have a chance at TB or Scyther, surely, unless they collide. But if they do, this is for the podium. Jack now, closer than before. Gaining. Outside line, long way around. Is he going to be able to pull it off in the braking zone? The Chiller has to back out, and Jack does pull it off as we're going to start the final lap of this race for Cookie. All he wanted to do is go into the winter break with this points lead. He's going to surely keep the points lead, but now, final lap underway.
TB needs, well, he doesn't need to, but he's going to want to get this position on Skisser on this last lap to benefit him in the championship. Skisser making multiple moves. One would say that's illegal, but we'll see after the Grand Prix. TB is petty enough to submit that. The fight then with the Chiller, Minico, Be Good, and Barney area is starting to cook up as well. Obviously, the Chiller's not fighting for anything here unless he's going to appeal his penalty. But he might be getting one for what he did to Be Good anyway. Hunter with another penalty. One absolute masterclass and how not to the track limits today.
Jack leading this train. He was on podium in Season 7 in this race. Now he's trying to hold on for P4. Here we go. The Chiller, Minico, all swarming past Jack. Jack losing 2 places now. On the final lap. Can they have a late charge into the final sector? We're going to switch over to Cookie in a moment, then switch back to this. But can Minico find a move down the inside? No. Cookie got a podium in this race last season for Aston Martin. This time he switched over to the car that won this race. 4 wins all time. He's going to tie Joe Loke, who's achieving great things in real life. Now, Cookie's achieving great things in RPL as he wins the Australian Grand Prix, dominating once again. And you see the cars cross the line. Be Good retired from the session. I guess it's because he left early. Zakaria got dainty on penalties. So Zakaria, the last one in the points on his return.
Yeah, well, I've told many people to not do what Be Good just done because it's very annoying, and he's done it anyway, so twat.
Stupid glitch. Stupid move, you could say. Jokingly, of course. But final runner across the line is Redfire Tiger. Yeah. Who would you give driver of the day to?
Well, you're always going to have to give it to the man who's dominating it, so either him or the man who he is given driver of the day, TB.
Yeah.
Either Cookie or TB, I'd say.
I'm going to split your vote. I'm going to give it to TB. I think Cookie had a dominant performance again, which is great and all. It's nice. But, you know, sometimes his dominant performance is not going to be the only thing we focus on. And it clearly wasn't, because TB went from 19th to 2nd. He didn't even get to qualify. It's not like he started back there in a back marker. Well, I shouldn't say in a back marker car, but it's not like he started back there and realistically ended up being back there because of a qualifying ban or because of pure pace or his own mistake. He didn't join in qualifying, and he started 19th, and he really put on a good race to come through the field. Realistically, that Merc should be maybe 4th or 5th with the competition today and the cars in this race. But what TB did is outperform that car and finish P3 for them. Here are your final results once again. For the 2nd time this season, it's an American 1-2. And TB on the podium for a 2nd straight week. His 40th all-time. Scyther's 40th all-time. They are both 2nd on the all-time podium list. And possibly one of TB's best. So here we run down through the final results. We've got Cookie who wins. Scyther 2nd. TB 3rd. Minico 4th place again for the 2nd time. A best result from a Canadian driver in RPL. Jack is 5th. The Chiller, another disappointer for him in Red Bull. Absolutely shameful that he is not any higher up. Aston Martin's Barney is 7th. KVS 8th. Zakaria 9th. Some of those guys will be down a place with Be Good leaving. So, obviously, Be Good would be, I believe, in between the Zakaria area, I think. Um, yeah, he'd be just behind Dainty, so he'd actually be the last point runner with his penalties applied. So Zakaria does get ninth place, actually. So good running from Zakaria in a return. Hunted had a good race with his pace, just too many penalties. I'm sure with some of those 3 seconds, though, because turn 4 loves to give people an automatic 3 second with 4 warnings in one corner. I'm sure some of those 3 seconds will be appealed, though. We'll find out which ones. But closing thoughts in today's race as we head to Formula Endurance in Zandvoort tomorrow and the new year of racing after Christmas break.
Oh, why? Wait, what?
Any thoughts before
Sorry,
Christmas break?
I was
That, you're good.
zoned out.
You're good.
It's past
Don't
my
worry.
bedtime. Thoughts. I'm excited for Santa to come and give me some nice presents, and
Yeah.
Santa's gonna be giving me a quick Mercedes, hopefully, so that I can
Hope
dominate.
so.
And hopefully, I'm gonna ask for it over Christmas. Santa can give us a new race winner in Tier 1 instead of being Cookie 3 times in a row.
I agree. Sorry, Cookie. You've won many times in a row, but you're not L74G. You're not going to win 15 times in a row. I'm sorry to break it to you.
He might do.
I, I'm a little biased saying it, but I don't see it. I like Cookie. I really do. Great driver. I give him tons of props, but I don't see him winning 15 in a row because the thing is, once we go to one of his bad tracks and he gets challenged for the race win, he's a bottle job, he said. And I actually, that's, compared to some of the things he's BS'd us with, I actually believe he's a bottle job because we've seen it before. So, I think he'll win tons of races this season, like a Max Verstappen, right? But Max Verstappen only won, what, 11 in a row? He didn't win 15 in a row. So, Cookie is Max Verstappen, but he's not winning 15 in a row like L74G did, just unmatched. I think he will get close. I'm not going to discredit him, but I just don't see it. 26 race season could lead to that, though, with more races available for it. Who knows? I think one other thing as well on people's radar is the Chiller, obviously having that ultimatum from Cryptic. How much is he on the hot seat here from Red Bull will be the big question, the big talking point before next Grand Prix in Baku. We'll find out what happens there in Baku. Either way, Cookie extends the championship lead into the 2-week break. Coming up over TB and Scyther, who came in today's race second and third at points. They remain there as well, and they get their 40th podium all-time. Cookie, 4th win all-time, tying the great Joe Loke, who is now doing some great things in real life. It's funny because Joe Loke got that Aston Martin, award, and, is going to be able to test drive an Aston Martin F1 car. Cookie drove an Aston Martin in this race last season, and now he's tied Joe Loke in terms of all-time wins. So I think that's a very neat stat to kind of think about in terms of today's race and what has happened.
Find
Find out.
Well, I think I've
Find out what
lagged
happens
there.
after. It's okay. It's okay. Well, for those of you tuning in still or watching the stream back, must be said we have to sign off now. Tomorrow is Formula Endurance at
I'm
7
winning.
UK time. Zandvoort. That should be tons of fun. That's the last event of 2023 in RPL before we head to 2024. And next time out, we'll be in Japan. Or, sorry, Japan's Tier 2. We'll be in Japan for Tier 2, Baku for F1. Excuse me right there. Either way, folks, now is time for the Christmas break and the holiday break. Christmas, New Year's, all those, Hanukkah, everything. Anything you celebrate holiday-wise. Obviously, happy holidays, but please have a safe and very welcoming holidays and warm one too, because it usually does get cold this time of year in a lot of everybody's areas they live in. So until the next time we see you in RPL, we hope to hear what kind of presents you got. Cookie's present is leading the championship, and we'll see what happens when we come back to racing in Baku in January after the break. Until next time, I'm your commentator, Ryan Searles, and alongside me, Owen 37, ending off tonight's commentary. We'll see you both next time for Baku. Well done, Baku. Well done, RPL in 2023. We'll see you in 2024.
But